Hello, my name is Ashley Stevenson. I'm in Sociology 280 with Brian Thomas, and today's date is June 21st, 2011. I wrote my paper about Coca-Cola. I based my paper around George Reitzer's book titled The Globalization of Nothing. As an introduction, I want to read a quote by George Reitzer. He notes, "Coca-Cola is a little more than sugar, some flavoring, and lots of carbonated water. It is largely indistinguishable from many other brands of cola, yet people around the world seem to think that Coca-Cola is something and they are eager to ask for it by name and even pay a premium for it." Perhaps one of the most recognizable and easily acceptable products in America and the world is a cold bottle of Coca-Cola. We all know this symbol, and I would say that the white Coca-Cola script is a universal symbol for cola as a whole. The expansive reign of the Coca-Cola Company has led to the mass production and globalization as one of the world's leading manufacturers. The Coca-Cola being the main contender of soft drink distribution and manufacturing, it can be found anywhere and everywhere around the world. Yet the question of value is arguable. The globalization of Coca-Cola has become of the expansion of a brand rather than the value of the product itself, and although it is available nearly everywhere, Coca-Cola's value is based solely upon its name rather than the quality. A little bit of history on Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola can easily be considered as the successful grandfather to the evolution of soft drinks. The company itself has been around for 100 years. Coca-Cola was invented in 1886 by Dr. John Pemberton in his own pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia. Coca-Cola was created as a medical tonic with hints of cocaine and caffeine-infused cola nut, and was actually marketed to help cure depression, anxiety, fatigue, and a variety of other elements. The first year of Coca-Cola's existence was not quite as significant as it is today. The profits reached $50 while the expenses exceeded $70. Although the product's net sales were at loss, the potential was not overlooked. In 1887, Asa Candler bought the rights and the recipe to Coca-Cola for $2,300, and by the late 1890s, the soft drink's popularity in America began its exponential climb to greatness and even closer to a globalized state. At the time, advertising was just the beginning to be realized for its importance. Candler saw the importance of the trend and began to press the importance for proper advertising of Coke, launched one of the most prestigious ad companies and campaigns of the century. Within years, the brand of Coke was recognizable across both American and Canadian soil. With popularity booming, Coca-Cola began licensing its products to hundreds of independent bottling companies in order to accommodate the mass demand for the product. The recipe was changed to sedate the newly health-conscious public, and finally in 1985, the new Coke was introduced to the world. From that point, expansion of company flourished to over 200 countries worldwide and reached today's immense figure of more than 1 billion drinks consumed per day. The concept of globalization can be simply defined as a unification of product, people, companies, governments, and cultures across the world. In this instance, it is based mostly upon a materialistic foundation. What was once a world that was filled with countries supplying only their citizens has become a web of outsourcing and spreading their roots across the world to create a product still moderately exclusive to its beginning. What was once a world that focused on quality is now a world focused on a brand of the product itself. According to George Reitzer, Coca-Cola can be considered a key example of McDonaldization. The McDonaldization of Coca-Cola runs hand in hand with the concept of globalization because the mass expansion of the company both on American and foreign soil. The soft drink has become a staple product all over the world, just as McDonald's, for example. Coca-Cola was founded and created on American soil, Atlanta, Georgia, and was largely marketed during its beginning as America's drink. However, with the ongoing expansion of the company's production to lands across the world, it no longer holds that value as a humanized product. Rather, it has become a product that is mass-produced and so easily acceptable due to its ever-spreading roots that its value has diminished extremely. Reitzer's theory of globalization is based heavily on the relationship of both global and local integration and imposition, as well as the categorization of product into something and nothing. In this case, Coca-Cola would be considered in the act of globalization of nothing, according to Reitzer. Due to this, the incurrence of Coke into new countries has diminished the quality of the product itself and has based a great deal of its success merely on the capital C's of that pretty little label. Reitzer also has a theory called Meet the Nullities: non-places, non-things, non-people, and non-services. Technology has had an immense influence on the expansion of Coca-Cola products. Vending machines can be found in nearly any business, including school cafeterias, rest stops, sporting locations, amusement parks, arenas, and the list is constant. This technology is available everywhere to reach people of all ages. With the growing technology, we can avoid having to stop at a store, get out of our car, go inside, and purchase a Coca-Cola over the counter. This technology is a leading example of how we are moving from something to nothing. Although the success of the company may seem as a triumph to be celebrated of the American company, it is the distribution of wealth that is being ignored. While the outsourcing of product is being overlooked, the quality of the product is diminishing and is almost holding the responsible of a Made in China tag securing the bottle cap. The main responsibility of Americans is to consume the product, rather than supply the jobs to make the product and profit from both the quality and brand name. Instead, because of the success in America and the popularity of the brand name, it has become an epidemic of commercialism and globalization across the world, and its value as a physical product has diminished considerably. According to Reitzer's theory, the value of Coca-Cola is now nothing, although the brand itself is considered a something by the public. Since Coca-Cola's expansion into the global economy, thousands of locally operated plants have been introduced to well over 200 countries. For example, in Argentina in 1942, less than 200 bottles of Coke were sold on the first day. Sales were horrible due to the lack of interest in unknown brand in the country. However, with the presence of Coca-Cola growing in Argentina, so has the name. A year later, in 1943, sales multiplied by over 150,000 times as the name became better known. This rise was not because of the quality, but because of the accessibility and the popularity of the brand name amongst the world's economy. In conclusion, when the world's economy is as turbulent as today's and the overshadowing promise of future globalization, it is important that change is upon the world's people. Coca-Cola provides a clear example of both benefits and dangers of globalization, both at home and across the world. With the ever-increasing size of the company across hundreds of countries, the value of the product diminishes as the importance of localization is forgotten. When the brand name overrules the quality, it is the value of nothing that is treasured. What seems quite foolish is only the beginning of an immense trend of worship of brand name, product, and the ignorance of quality. Even when the product is indistinguishable from innumerable other brands, as Reitzer quoted, in comparison of quality, people will still brandish their brand goggles when it comes to consumerism and the expansion of economic policy. I believe Coca-Cola provides a prime example for the globalization of a product. With the expanding popularity of the brand name, the quality becomes less important. The lack of importance leads to the worship of nothing. With the materialistic want for nothing comes the neglect of localization, which in the long run will be the focus on equality of Coke itself. Rather than that cool, relaxing taste of Coca-Cola, consumers will only focus on this little red logo and the swirly brand writing that they idolize. Thank you for listening.